Locked up, they won't let me out. We've got kings, we've got queens, we've got palaces, we've got a justice system based on pre-colonial West Africa. Okay, buckle up. The princess is here! Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thanks so much for coming back. It's me, Princess. Hello, Simulation Princess here. So today I am very excited to be here because I have yet again taken time to nerd out, to take notes, and to deep dive with you on some more very cultural and historical things that I'm implementing into The Sims 2 because I have nothing better to do. I'm joking. I have a lot of other things I could be doing, but I always find myself diving right back into the papers, right back into the books, and I'm just like, how do I make my game that much more real, that much more immersive? So that's what I'm here to share with you all today. If you don't watch my streams, then you don't know this, but you should watch my streams because it's so much fun. There are stories. This is the telenovela of our dreams, basically. We're in a part in the story where one of our main characters is now going to be faced with a decision based on a crime that they've committed. Here I am, minding my business. I'm putting the Sims to sleep. We finished the party. I'm about to close out the save and go start editing. Kobe is nice and comfy. I gave him new pages, gave him a cute little makeover to keep him looking young. The house is quiet. And then all of a sudden, I get a notification that we are being burgled. Yes, indeed. And who is it? It is Jessica Ibadi, the same Jessica Ibadi who burgled Uncle Fred's house, the same one. Okay. So I'm like, oh my gosh, Roman is prepared this time. He has a pew-pew. Yes, indeed. He does have a pew-pew right under his bed. The reason I'm voiceovering this is because I recorded this entire clip and it didn't record any audio. So I had to use the dorm specific tools disable cheat. I did because the pew-pew was right under the bed and I couldn't move it over unless I go into buy mode. But he already had the pew-pew. I already have that in the video. So I think on the episode of the wedding or maybe right before the wedding, Gideon gave him this and he said, protect your family at all costs. Don't slip up again. Don't fumble the bag like you did before. So Roman is like, he hears something, right? He hears something. So they wake up. And Eevee wakes up too, and Roman's like, get up right now. Don't be alarmed. Go get Kobe. Because Roman doesn't know if it's a burglar, if it's someone else that's going to cause harm. So as you can see, we click on the pew-pew and we did click indeed to unalive Jessica. Yes, it's that deep. I know. Call the police, right? Call the police. But this is personal to Roman. But then I noticed outside, I said, what is Obi doing here? What is Obi doing here? And interesting that Jessica, the burglar, she headed straight to the cars. And so I'm thinking, okay, usually with the carjacking, I don't know, I'm not a pro at this, right? But usually it's two people. You need one person, to drive the car away really fast. So I'm like, is Obi involved? Because he's watching the burglary happen. And he is just standing there. Look at him. And Jessica's running out to the car, doing whatever kind of wire crossing she has to do to get access to it. So I'm like, is Obi involved? My Obi, my precious Obi? Is this a coincidence? Because it's 1 a.m. What is he doing outside? What is he doing at the residence at 1? You've already been excused. You've already been asked to leave. You've already been poured drink on drink on drink. So Jessica goes ahead and she steals the car, okay? At this point, I'm like, Roman, what's going on? And then I see that Roman is indeed exiting the home. And Eevee is running in the back frantically. And she's like, oh my gosh. But look at this. Roman's thought bubble is marriage. He's thinking about his marriage, his family, his legacy. And he's like, I need to prove myself. Jessica picked the wrong house. She picked the wrong day. He has Tristan in one ear saying, you're different, man. You lack integrity. You're different. And then he has Auntie Marg in one ear saying, I can make you a man. I can show you how to be a man and you can show me how to be soft and we can help each other. And he's so torn with his identity. But the only thing he does know is that everyone thinks he can't make his own decisions. Everyone thinks he's a coward. So he comes out here with the pew-pew ready, loaded. Okay, notice that Obi is standing there again. No reaction. Okay, light work, no reaction. Eevee was taking very long to come out, so I had to teleport her. So Eevee's freaking out because she's like, oh my gosh, Roman, like what's going on? Who's this? Oh my gosh, she's freaking out. Then she screams to Roman and says, get her in the leg. Because Eevee's mindset is not that we're going to unalive, you're going to unalive, not we, you're going to unalive Jessica. Eevee's mindset is, get her down and then we call the cops. Get her down, then we call the cops. So she's like, Roman, just one shot in the leg, just one shot in the leg. But Roman, as you can see, his whole body jerked back. Roman became someone else, you guys. Something took over this man and he said, I'm going to do this for everyone that's doubted me, for everyone that's called me a coward, a boy, small. I need to do this. Look at him. He doesn't even look like himself. He doesn't even look like himself. And he let it rip. He blasted off more than 14 bullets. Okay. And Jessica grips her neck and she's like, "Ugh, I just stole your car, man. I can give you back the keys." But it's too late. Roman has no control over himself, and Eevee is screaming. Eevee is frantic, and she runs back in the house after she hears the first round of pew-pews. Look at him. Look at him. Eevee runs back in the house, and Jessica's like, please, and then she's done. Roman walks away. He's breathing heavily, and Jessica's body lifelessly falls onto the ground on their driveway. Eevee is freaked out. When I say freaked out, she is freaked out. She's scared for her own safety. She's scared for her baby at this point because Roman's not reachable. She's screaming, "Roman, no! Roman, no!" But Roman's not there. Okay, Roman is not home. Roman not home. So then the Grim Reaper arrives, and the Grim does what Grim does. And Eevee was stuck on the front porch. So I had to physically move her. She ran in, she checked her baby, she checked Kobe, everything's fine with Kobe. She comes back outside, and then she just watches Jessica, and she sees that Roman, his eyes are glossed over. He's not himself. She's saying, Roman, look at me. Roman. And he's just not even there. So she's like, I need to call the police. She doesn't think it through. That's the problem here. Eevee doesn't think it through. So Eevee's like, hello, 911. I need to report a burglary. She's reporting a burglary. But she doesn't realize that this could have more implications because Roman has literally unalived this lady. So much so that Grim is here. So the police is like, we're on our way, ma'am. Don't worry. Labati police is on their way. The police arrives super, super fast. I bring Eevee here because she was getting stuck on the porch. And Grim is like, well, another one bites the dust. Another one, thank you. And so Grim goes ahead and registers Jessica's body for, her soul, I guess, for her soul journey. And he reaps her. And Eevee is freaking out. So Eevee's pissed, right? She's upset because she's like, I told you. So she goes up to Roman and she's like, Roman, I told you. We just had a birthday party. We can't have one good memory without you ruining it. I told you, in the leg. How many pew-pews did you need to unload? And so she's freaking out. I have no idea why I'm panning up here right now, so I'm not really sure. Oh, it's because the police ran inside. So the police arrives, but they run straight to our room. So then I was like, maybe they got like some sort of tick, or not tick, but like their system was able to identify where the pew-pew was because it was under the bed or something. I don't know why they decided to bypass the whole situation and run inside. And so Roman, again, he's not himself. He's irate. He can only see red. And she's like, do you understand that you could have pew-pewed her in the leg and then they would come and handcuff her? He's like, handcuffs? You're talking to me about handcuffs? And then the officer goes, what's going on here? Who is the one who unloaded the weapon? Who is the one that unloaded the pew-pew? And then Grim reaps Jessica and then goes on his way. Then the police starts yelling at Roman. Okay, yelling. Okay, this is the part where I realized my computer was not recording my audio, but I start talking again. So you're all caught up. You're good. And so I was like, okay, we could do so many different things. We could do like a little spin the wheel, or we could, do a vote on stream, and everyone in chat will just vote to decide the fate of this character. Or I could create a very intricate pre-colonial African-inspired justice system in The Sims 2 with mods, with custom lots, with all of the things, and share it with you. And so, of course, that option was much more appealing. And so that's what we're doing here today. I have read a bunch of different books, a bunch of different papers, a lot of material, a lot of content. This is going to be a good one. So let's just dive right in. So as always, I have my notes here because, girl, I can't remember everything. Right. Okay. So I started off by thinking about, okay, in The Sims 2, regularly, we have a police system. You call the cops come, they arrest the burglar, and it's very, Western. It's very North America inspired, which is fine. And I still intend to implement that system into my overall grand scheme of things. But my biggest question was, well, before colonialism, and I'm most interested in what happened before slavery, before the transatlantic slave trade, before colonialism, before the white man. I'm very interested in what existed, what kind of systems were there, what kind of governments and structures of jurisdiction were in place. That's the interest of mine, because that's Labati for me. Labati is a very untouched, when I say untouched, I mean colonialism doesn't know her, okay? A very beautiful, untouched world. I read this paper and it's called Pre-Colonial Criminal Justice. I think I'll move over so I can put it on the screen. Pre-colonial criminal justice in West Africa, Eurocentric thought versus Afrocentric evidence. So this paper was written in the context of criminology, and I believe this paper was published in 2005. So this is 20 years ago. And so when criminology was coming out as in theory, and of course also context, a lot of immigration and migration patterns changed the way that society ran, right? When you have different people, you kind of have to figure out, well, how do we police, right? How do we police people who come from different places, have different cultures, backgrounds, and practices? So this was written in the lens of criminology, but I think it's still very interesting. So the paper examines something called the Songhai Empire. Okay, so the Songhai Empire. This Songhai Empire included all of the African countries that were centered around the Niger River. And this was one of the largest and I guess most powerful African empires, which is very interesting because I've never heard of the Songhai. I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you've heard of that. So this empire existed between the 15th and the 16th century, and it was very popular, very strong, and very big because where it was located was perfect for trading routes. And so essentially you'd have to kind of pass through this area. And so that's where they were able to, you know, I guess tax and get money and resources and things like that. And so they were really strong. And the reason why this empire no longer exists is because there was a Moroccan invasion, and that's what ended the invaded and overtook the Songhai Empire. And that happened in 1951. When you think about it, that's really not even that long ago. Like 1951, you know, like 2025 is not, I don't know. Like I know people that were born in 1951 still roaming the earth, you know, like that's not so far back. I don't know. Sometimes when I think about these things, I'm like, it's not as far back as I imagine it to be. So there were some kings that claimed the Songhai Empire throne. And the first one was Ali Colin, and he was the first king. And then was Sani Ali Burr. But then was Askia Muhammad, and his nickname, or the name he was known for in the streets, was Askia the Great, because he was known to have consolidated the empire 2,000 miles forward and then 1,000 miles wide. So all of that land was land that he consolidated and ruled over. So this was like, you know, this was a big deal. And so this person's name was Askia the Great. So I was like, maybe the king that I create in The Sims 2, I could also play on that name and call them something the Great. I don't know, maybe. Let's see. So when I say 1,000 miles wide and then 2,000 miles forward, the modern day countries that this encompassed are Senegal, Gambia, Guinea-Bissau, Mali, and then the larger parts of Niger, Guinea, Mauritania, girl, I don't know. And then smaller parts of Sierra Leone, Cote d'Ivoire, Benin, Burkina Faso, and then northern Nigeria, which, very interesting, northern Nigeria is nicknamed or casually referred to as Hausa land because of the population of folks of the Hausa people or Hausa tribe. So listing all of these countries, clearly like this empire was really big, Songhai Empire. So in my world, Labati is not as big. Labati is kind of like a rural space, but it's a smaller township, coastal island vibe, but it's still theoretically connected to larger parts and larger regions. So that was also interesting to know. I need to get one of those small mics. I'm literally carrying this big mic here and it's hurting my hand. I'm like, girl, I need to get one of those like cutesy mics. I'm carrying like 20 pounds of my... Anyway, the Songhai Empire. The Songhai Empire was actually very notable because there was a structure to it, similar to how like in North American government, you know, you have your federal, your municipal, your state, whatever your state level government is. So the Songhai Empire had a similar kind of bureaucratic system where you would have the king, but then they also had ministers. And I found that very interesting because, again, pre-colonial times, a lot of people like to assume that the white man introduced structure and departmental or level heads and things like this, but these kind of structures already existed. They just had different names. For example, the ministers, one of them is called Tari Mundio, and that's the inspector of agriculture, the same way that your state might have a department of parks and recreation or something like that. These things existed. These things existed pre-colonial Africa times. There's also the Bere Koi, who was the chief of etiquette and protocol. Right. So like civil law, it translates. So that's so cool to understand that these systems were already in place. Did they function differently? Sure. But was there still that wisdom to have departments and people overseeing different things? Absolutely. And something I found really interesting, especially in the context of criminology, this Songhai Empire actually had a minister for minorities. So isn't that so interesting that if you were a part of a space but you didn't belong to the majority population, you were an immigrant, or for some reason you had a marker that made you a minority, there was a ministry that was responsible for your acclimation, for your ability to adapt to the space. And that's really cool, because then again, if you're thinking about this in the context of criminology, which the paper was, then you would note that when we think about northern countries, we think about America, we think about Canada, we think about the UK, countries that folks are migrating to and moving to from other abroad spaces. Are there those types of systems now? Like where you live, you could ask yourself, is there something that supports newcomers, refugees, and immigrants in their day-to-day life as they adjust in and transition and become a citizen or become a resident of a new place? Really lovely to see that even in pre-colonial Africa, they thought about those who didn't inherently belong, and there were systems to help them to belong. There were systems to help them get resources, to help them get supports. Can we say the same thing today? Food for thought. As we continue to think about the bureaucracy, like I was saying, you have the king, and then you have the ministers, like the Minister of Agriculture, the Minister of Etiquette and Protocol. You also have local head judges. In my mind, I'm kind of thinking of this as like a mayor, right? Someone who's responsible for like a smaller portion of the population on a more regional level. And these local head judges were called Qadi. And so that's really cool to see the kind of structure of the Songhai Empire back in the 15th, 16th century. Right. And similarly to local government, like you go to town hall, you report about your stop sign, and you report about your local library or whatever it is. Similar to that, the Qadi was responsible for local, more citizen level disputes, person to person. So to me, that's giving mayor or like your premier or, whoever's kind of local and more responsible for lower level frontline things. But then the king handled things like treason, the bigger concept, bigger picture stuff that was more of like a threat to the land rather than like smaller disputes. And I think that's the way I want to go with Labati. I want Labati's police, because Sims 2, the police are already in the game. Like I can't do anything about that. The only thing I was thinking to do is to change how the NPCs look and to change their uniform to something that would make more sense culturally. Not that in Africa right now, the officers wear uniforms, the soldiers wear army outfits, but something of maybe a little more colorful, not the typical blue on blue, maybe something a little different. But I still need to kind of work that out. But I kind of want the in-game police, the NPC police, to be the Qadi, to be the local judges, to be the local law enforcement. But then the king that I'm creating in this whole criminal justice kind of governance system is going to be the great, right? The one who's handling the larger disputes, like getting unalived by pew-pews 15 times. Roman. The next thing I read, because we didn't stop at one paper, of course we had to overdo it, it's by PBS, and it's called History, Society, and Kinship and Kingship in the Kingdom of Ghana. And of course I had to look at Ghana because big up my people, okay? So something I really, really like about Ghana and Ghanaian culture, especially specifically Ashanti culture, is the matrilineal aspect of things. If you've watched like Bridgerton or, any of the period pieces that exist in media, you would see that oftentimes the man is like, I must have a son, I must carry on my legacy, this type of thing. Ghana does it different. So instead of things being patrilineal, which means that it's, your father, the son, the grandson, the great grandson, goes on, men. Instead of that, it's matrilineal. And so the women have a role to play in the predecessors and successors of the throne. So you're going to find this hilarious and also super interesting. The king's sister. Okay, so the king has a sister. The king's sister's son is the one who can be viable for the throne. So it's not that the king gets married, has a kid, and that kid is going to be his successor and have the throne. No. It's the king's sister. Right. Now you're wondering why. Let me tell you. The reason why is because if a king was married to a woman and that woman was unfaithful to him and had a child by another man, but the king didn't know that that child wasn't his, then the king would actually be forfeiting his kingship in his lineage because he's thinking, oh, I'm passing down my kingship to my son, but that kid is not his, girl. Right. So instead, the way that they could verify is, well, the king's sister, her child, no matter who the father is, no matter who the daddy is, that kid is the king's nephew, right? My sister's son, pretend I'm the king. My sister's son is my nephew. It doesn't matter who his father is. He is for sure my nephew. So long as my sister is my biological, so long as this blood is real blood, you get me? And so that's why they did that. And I found that so funny, but also like present day, this still stands. Like the royal families still rely on your nephews. So the kingship moves nephew wise rather than son wise. Also noting that sister can be used loosely because in my experience, present day, I don't know about pre-colonial times because I was not there. My experience present day is that it can also be your cousin. It's not just your sister, your cousin on your mom's side. Yeah, I think that makes it simpler, right? So long as it's your cousin on your mom's side, your cousin who is a woman, her child can also become the king. So that's why I'm saying women have a role to play, whether it's you are the auntie, you know what I mean? You are the sister, you have a role to play in literally birthing the next king. So the last episode where we talked about weddings in Ghana, I shared some language and I wanted to do the same thing this time because I thought that was fun. So let's learn how to say king in Twi. The Ashanti language is Twi. So we're going to say king. King is ohene, ohene. That is king. If you want to say the king of Ashanti, the king of this is Asantehene, because Asante is the region and then Hene is coming from king. So in my context, if Asantehene is king of Ashanti, then Labati Hene is king of Labati. So far now we have two name contenders. We have something the Great, right? Similar to Asaki the Great or Askia. What was his name? You remember I said it earlier. Or we have this way to do Labati Hene, which is king of Labati. So I was very interested in seeing how Ghana runs things in terms of criminal justice. And this article told me that, the PBS one told me that the criminal justice system and the way that the kingship ran was based on unwritten customs and traditions. And of course, pre-colonial Africa means a lot of things were described orally, stories, practices, traditions, myths were shared through the mouth verbally. And these things kind of just held in place. It's interesting though, because when we think about the transatlantic slave trade and the brutality and the violence and just the pain that came with that entire experience, all of that greatly contrasts the way that Africans look at justice in pre-colonial contexts. There wasn't really jail. If you did something wrong, there wasn't really prison. There wasn't some dungeon that you're just thrown in and you're just starved to death. That wasn't like a typical way. Instead, the focus was on reconciliation, restoration, and community. There was also a really big focus on, and I see this also present day, on repairing relationships and compensation. So with Ghana, especially if you're Ghanaian, if you're African, West African, you know, a lot of things require sit down. We all need to sit down and discuss it. We need to sit down and discuss it with our elders. We need to sit down and discuss it with our family. We need to just sit down and discuss it with the other party. A lot of things require the sit down. And that's why I was saying in the last episode I made that every family has a designated abusiapenin. That is an elder, and that's a designated person who is responsible for all of these different types of mediation, because there are so many sit downs, there are so many conversations that there needs to be like, hey, you're responsible for making sure nobody goes berserk. Okay, you're responsible for making sure that this conversation goes successfully. How I have observed Ghanaian culture is very much big on communication and agreeing on something. We are going to sit down and we're going to talk, and we're going to talk until we agree. Sometimes the agree result is money, right? You're going to pay me this, or you're going to fix my this, or you're going to restore this. And sometimes we just need to sit down so that we can kind of sever what's broken and move forward in positive relationship. So literally reading this text, I was like, wow, like I see this in present day. Like even in my family, my Abusia Penny, we've sat down, we have to talk about this and talk about that. Like I've witnessed it. And I think it's really beautiful. I think it's a really beautiful way that families can mediate and stay connected. And I think if you're watching my streams and you're caught up with Labati legacy, that's a big question, because Auntie Lydia has an attitude problem, but also the Buari family has like a bias against Eevee's family. And so I also think that we need to think about how do we move forward, because no one would be comfortable with their in-laws just hating them forever. You know what I mean? With your in-laws trying to sue you, your in-laws trying to hurt you. Like at a point, it's like, girl, no, you're not even allowed to see my child anymore. You're not going to be allowed to see your grandkid anymore if you keep moving funny. So the next paper, yes, you guys, I read a lot and I love to read. Oh my gosh. And I love that I get to share this in like this nerdy little way with you. So thanks for giving me this opportunity. So the next paper I read is called Alternatives to Imprisonment in Ghana, a focus on Ghana's criminal justice system. So again, I was interested in the matrilineal aspects of Ghana. I am from Ghana, and Labati is loosely inspired by Ghana, Ashanti, West African, and African at large culture. So I wanted to kind of deep dive into how Ghana is running things, honey. The first thing I really liked when I was reading is, you know, when you're in court and you see this, like the jurors have to describe someone and, you know, establish if they're guilty or not. There's something called guilty with explanation. So you could literally stand in front of the king, the chief, whoever is the, you know, the person of authority in that context. And you could be like, I am guilty, but I can't explain. I did it, but I have a reason. And I kind of love that, like, you know, petty crimes, not anything crazy. But I kind of love that because it's like, yeah, I did it. And I can tell you why I did it. You know, hear me out. I thought that was kind of funny. So how it works in the Ghanian context is similarly to the Songhai Empire, where there's a king and there are chiefs. And so depending on the issue, you're most likely going to be speaking with the chief. You bring your issue to the chief and there is an audience. It's your family. It's also community members. There are people around who are witnessing this kind of exchange. And so if you are guilty with explanation, I did steal his goat. And let me tell you why. Right? If you are pleading guilty with explanation, you make your case. And then the audience members also get to plea on your behalf. I thought that was really cool. So whether you are the offender or whether you are the victim, you get to make your case. And then the audience, the community essentially gets to make their case or gets to plead depending on the situation. And I thought that was interesting because, again, community, you guys. I feel like modern day, like, you have community. You know, if you were up for trial and the chief was going to make a judgment on you, would you have somebody that could be like, hey, she buys bread for my bakery every morning and she would never do that? Like, you know what I mean? Everything is so siloed, everything is so isolated. And I don't know, I think about maybe this is why I'm yearning for a Labati and creating a world that's so rich in community and connected. There's like an enmeshment, because I don't have that in real life and I don't see that as often. Maybe something to think about. But anyway, after the victim and the accused have made their cases and the community has also had an opportunity to plea, then the king or the chief and the fellow elders or council will go away and they'll discuss things. So this is something very interesting because it isn't an autocracy. An autocracy is when there's one ruler, like a king, who has unlimited rights. You can do whatever you want. You are the king. You can set this place on fire. You don't report to anyone. Like, you're king. Okay. It's not an autocracy. In fact, it is more so a democracy. Why? It's not the audience or the community that's voting, but the king can't do whatever he wants. The king has to report and convene with the council. That word was deep in my brain. I had to pull it out. Convene with the council. And so when they go away to discuss the case, they have to agree. And often that's put down to a vote. So the king is not just walking up in here like, hey, this is what we're doing. No, it's very much democracy. It's very much a collaborative approach. And so the king matters just as much as those council members or those chiefs matter. And very differently to American context or North American context, you don't just get a sentence. Usually there's compensation. Like I was saying, you have to give this person 50 cities. You got to give this family 100 simoleons, right? But there's also, how do we repair and restore the relationship? What happens between the families to make sure that there is no more strife and contention and things can move on. So that's really the focus. Reconciliation, which is restoring the relationships and at least have them get to a civil level, but then also restitution, which is restoring whatever was lost. If you stole my goat, give it back. And if you can't give it back, give me the money, right? Right. So normally the sentence or the result of these type of trials is compensation. Like I said, it's usually money. How do we restore what was lost? But there are some cases of severe punishments, and this is kind of scary, kind of interesting. So there's obviously loss of rights. If you do something very severe, you might lose your rights. You might be banished from the land, banished. You could be mutilated, wild, physical dismemberment, death, and then also you could be buried alive. But these are for like extreme cases, like you've done something extreme. And so within these trials, there's the king, there's the chief, there's also the queen mother. Like I said, women have a role to play in these types of kingships and this type of governance. So queen mothers are like the female version of a king, right? You're the queen mother. There were also elders and other interest groups. Like I said, community members could be present and they could also make their own pleas. And finally, this is the last paper that I'm going to be shoving down your throat. But this one is called The Evolution of the Prison System in Ghana. So when I was reading all of this and I was taking all of my notes, I was kind of like, okay, well, what if somebody decided that they're going to do a crime and then run away, you know, or they're going to do a crime and not pay the compensation? Like what happens if someone is rebellious or has done something quite severe? So this article was talking about how, or this paper was talking about how there are times when you get tied, the person who's done something wrong, if there is a risk of them fleeing, or if they are refusing to pay back a debt or something like this, and they're also refusing to work off the debt or work with a family member to pay off the debt, like they are just totally resistant. I found it. They're totally resistant. These people will get tied literally with a chain to a tree. Sorry. You literally get tied to a tree. So these were considered as brief detention periods. And it says that the offender would be tied to a log to prevent escape. So you would be tied to a tree, and the tree would be close to whatever governance system was there so that you could be monitored, and you would be tied to a tree until you either decide to come up with some sort of payment plan or you decided to comply with whatever the terms were. You would be tied to something like a really heavy iron or like a big tree to make sure that you didn't run away. But these were brief and these were temporary. So you wouldn't be tied. I mean, according to the literature, you wouldn't be tied for, you know, a sentence, but it would be as like a warning or a punishment for trying to escape or running away. So now we're getting into all the things Sims 2, because after I learn all the things, I want to incorporate them into my game. And so I started off, of course, I had to create a king and a queen. And I'm really, really happy with how they turned out, you guys. I can't lie. I'm really, really happy with how they turned out. So let me show you all the things about the king and queen. All right, so we are in Body Shop. Body Shop is my favorite, especially because with The Sims 2, we don't have the gallery. So you can't really save Sims to the gallery, but you can save them in Body Shop. So it's perfect. But this is me creating the king. So I wanted him to be strong. I want him to be kind of younger, both of them to be a bit younger. Like maybe he's kind of newer to the throne. I wanted him to have face tattoos, tribal marks, muscular, you know, long hair. Some of his strength is in his hair. It's giving Samson, you know. So this is the before, and then you can see the after. I used the same kente wrap that Uncle Fred wore at Eevee's wedding, and I thought that was, and I just changed the fabric texture in Body Shop, but I thought that was strong and powerful and very culturally accurate. Maybe not the tribal marks, but yeah, very culturally accurate. And then for the queen mother, I wanted her to be giving kind of Sudanese, right? Very dark skin, cool tone, cool undertone. But then I wanted her to have light eyes, to be kind of like warm and to be ethereal in a way, almost like a fantasy character, you know, someone that just has so much wisdom. I gave her like a button nose, and I think it's the cutest thing, and very ethnographically correct. Ethno features, I don't know the right word, but you know what I'm trying to say. Very correct and accurate in terms of what we see in the culture and Sudanese archetypes, facial archetypes. Is that the right way to say it? I love this hair. Isn't it so beautiful? And it just looks like the braids are intricate. I gave her light eyes, and even the dress she's wearing, everything is supposed to be kind of like light blue, icy, like a storm queen, you know, this type of thing. I wanted her to come across more fantastical. And I'm pretty sure Butterfly Sim Station is the one who converted this hair, so shout out. It's beautiful. And I wanted her to have a deep skin tone, because the kingdom, although it's inspired by Ghana, is not only representative of Ghana. I still wanted to incorporate other African features. I think she turned out beautiful. I gave her tribal marks similar to what I gave the king. And then I gave her this icy blue dress. I think she just looks so fantastical, so ethereal, and whimsy. And I think we all love a little dash of whimsy. It's The Sims after all. Of course, the king and queen need somewhere to live. And so I built a palace. This is very exciting. This is actually the first palace I've built, I think, in the game. I don't think I've built any other things. I don't really play a medieval game, so there wasn't ever really a need. And I don't play Victorian either. So yeah, this is the first palace, and I'm very proud that it was very much African inspired, and it was inspired by the Zulu architecture that I found to be so cool. So let's dive into the palace and some of the Zulu architecture design that it was inspired by. So I'll do a quick scroll through my Pinterest board. It's not too many things because I wanted to kind of niche down. When you think of kingdoms, palace, royalty, there's so much, honestly, there's so much inspo to pull from. So I needed to niche down. So I think most of my inspiration is coming from Morocco and South Africa, and then a little bit fantastical. So this was the inspo I had for the entrance. I wanted there to be like these sharp kind of indicative pillars, the same similar roofing, and kind of like a security area. If you're African, then you know that usually your compounds, your gated homes, your mansions have something called a gate man, essentially a security. Your gate man is going to stand at the gate and kind of ensure the credibility of who's coming in and who's going out. So I kind of wanted this area to be like the gate man area. I really loved this one as well. And this is Timimoun. It's located in Timimoun, which is in South Central Algeria. I liked this architecture, the clay, the kind of different heights and the palm trees and everything. So I merged these two inspirations together. I believe this is in Kenya. I merged these two together to kind of come up with something that would work for me in my Sims 2 build mode, which is kind of limited. These, some of the home structures of the palace are inspired by the Zulu architecture, and Zulu is in sub-Saharan Africa, in South Africa. So you can see that the Zulu architecture is circular, and then there are these huts that also go around in a circle. And then you can see here, it says like the unmarried girls would be here. The unmarried boys would be here. The chief's mom is here. The chief is here. His first wife is here. His second wife is here. So there's like a system to the layout. And I really liked this circular hut kind of inspo. But then I also liked this, and this is like a traditional compound style where the home or the outdoor space is enclosed. I really liked this inspo as well. And this is more of the Zulu culture inspiration. So everything kind of works circular, and then the different huts represent or belong to or are assigned to the different types of groups or people, like the chief's mom, the first wife, unmarried boys. There's even a watchtower, so a security in the different areas. And then this was another inspo. So I liked the huts that were in a circle, the enclosed compound, and then the entrance that had like a gate man security kind of vibe. So this is what I came up with, and I absolutely love it. So if we start in the front here, I had so much fun with this because these, let me point them out to you. These grass pieces, they are called ground covers. I wonder where they're from. Fortitude debug grass. I feel like maybe if you looked in the Fortitude database, you might find them. Look how big they are, right? Does it come with recolors? It does not. So it's just this grass, but it just makes the space look so much more alive. You know, I love it. So I had so much fun with all of this grass. Oh my gosh, so good. And then I did the similar kind of having like this gated, you know, entrance with the pointy roofing. And then I just put some like greenery coming down and the ivy and stuff. I think it looks really good. So my hope is, let me turn the lights back on. My hope is that I can build maybe in here like a little gate man windowed situation with like a little security or something like that. I haven't built it yet, but that's my hope. Let's move on. So that's the front. And then I wanted to kind of go a little medieval. So there is like a little bit of a moat situation. And this is just to like keep intruders out. You know what I mean? So you kind of have to get security clearance and then you walk on the water. My water is black right now because I used to have an overlay for my water and then I changed it. And then ever since then, it's been weird. So I need to go in my folder and take out whatever mod it is that I have in that's changing the water textures. So it's just a bunch of water over here separating the palace. So this palace is essentially going to be, let me bring this down. I didn't realize that was all in the way. There you go. Now you can see the moat and the palace. So this palace is, it's not a household I'm going to play, but it is on a residential lot because I want the Sims who are here to be able to be controlled, to stay here overnight, to kind of be like sentenced to this space. So anytime I need anyone, I will just use the Sim Blender and bring them in. So this is on a residential lot and this is the palace. I'm not going to be playing them in my rotation. They just kind of exist as the royal system. So I'm using this amazing door. Do you guys see how good that is? Oh my gosh, I love it. Doesn't this door just, oh, sorry. It just gives. Oh, it's so good. Okay, now let's go. We go in and just excuse that I don't have wallpaper on some of the walls. Honestly, I should, right? I need to do better. And then on this side is where the prisoners, I want to call them something else besides prisoners, but I can't think of the word yet. So this is where the prisoners stay. So as you can see, it is a smaller holding jail cell system because the goal, again, isn't an extremely long sentence. As we talked about before, some of the punishments might be to be banished, to pay a compensation, stuff like that. So people that do petty crimes will not stay here long. So these are the cells. And it's quite simple. There's a bed, there's a desk, a chair that is a crate, and then a squatty potty. It. Love it. And as we can see, who's here? Eevee is here because I suspect he has something to do with something. So he is indeed here in his uniform without his shoes on, barefoot. So this is the holding cell area, okay? And then on this side is kind of more of like a functional area. So this side is where you will come and visit your imprisoned family member. So of course, this side is where you will, like your family can come and sit here and talk to you, and they'll talk to you through these wood slats, and you, the prisoner, will sit here and you'll say, Mama, I didn't do it, I promise. Doesn't it look so good? I know, I know. So there's no door here. This door is locked. So I'll move the person to this side whenever that part comes. And then this is an empty room, and I will turn this room into something, maybe like an office or an interrogation room or something like that. And then over here is just a little kitchen. Again, there's nothing in the palace that's for the Sims to live because they're not really going to live in here. I liked the hut style of the Zulu. So over here, I have these CC food trays, food platter buffet style. As you can see, I believe these are by Lord Crumps. And all you got to do is just click on it and you can serve a meal, and then you can click whichever meal you want to serve. So I'm going to have a worker in the palace serve up the meals and then bring them to the cells, bring them to the cells and have them have a plate of food here. So there isn't like a buffet table or anything like that. So this is pretty much just like a makeshift kitchen. I know some of the grass is cutting, but I kind of like it. So we're cool with that. And then we go outside. Yeah. So outside here is where our king and queen are currently seated. We have Beza the Great. And I believe Beza meant redemption in, oh, I wish I could remember what language. I'll put it up on the screen. And then we have Madame Light the Great. I wanted them to both be the Great. So this is Beza. And so they call him Beza or the Great, or Beza the Great. That's his name, clearly. Okay, Beza. And then this is Madame Light the Great. And I wanted her again to be based off of that fictional story that I really liked, that I shared with you, the book I shared with you. Beautiful. So these are their throne chairs, and I can make it nighttime so you can see the beauty of all the lights. You see this fire coming out of here? Come on. Let me turn on this one. Why is this one not firing up? Turn on this light. So I have, this is the court essentially, and then we have all these chairs here, and this is where people in the community will come and sit down and plead their case and, you know, make their cases known. So I put these single chairs out here. So this is for the defendant, and then this is for the accused. Looks so good. And then inside I have it empty, so there's nothing in this hut. It's just kind of for architecture, because I decided I'm not going to actually play Beza and Madame Light. I'm not going to play them like a household. They're here to be the royal family, and they represent something greater than what I can, you know, accomplish. And I have another hut over here. As you can see, outside of this hut, I put this wishing thing here, and they can come here and toss a coin. So people that are visiting the palace might come here for a little blessing and toss a coin, you know, something like that is cool. This comes with Bon Voyage. And then in here, again, non-accessible. They don't need anywhere to sleep or anything like that, because I'm using the Need Freak, and I'm pretty sure I should have their motives on static. So their motive shouldn't go down. And even if it does, I'm just going to bump it up. I'm not going to play the king and queen like Sims I have to take care of, if that makes sense. And then over here, I just have mods. This is to assign tables and chairs whenever there's a trial. This is the visitor controller. This is the sim blender, and then this is for pets, because I wanted them to have some pets roaming around here, some big dogs or something like that could be cool. As yes, redemption, strength, all that good stuff. I have blocker for visitor controller. A sim that has this object in their inventory won't show up as a walk by or on community lots. And I've given both of them this blocker. I guess I should give Obi this blocker as well. I did. Perfect. So prisoners and the king and queen will have this blocker. And the reason I have this is because I don't think it's realistic that I would see the king and queen at the grocery store. Like, they're supposed to be almost like just like revered, respected people that live in isolation and live far away and rule Labati, you know? So I don't want to see them on community lots or see them out at the restaurants. It's just going to break the immersion. So I gave them those blockers. I think this is by Epi Sims. I'm not 100% sure, so I'll have to let you know. And then let me tell you about some of the mods I'm using here. So of course we have these deco monkeys. I think they're the cutest ever. They're just deco. We have this right here, and this is a tip jar. And the reason I have this here is because when you want to make a case to the king and the queen, you got to come here and you got to insert some shmoney. Maybe we'll make it 100 right now. You have to give to the family, to the kingdom rather, to, you know, have a trial. Nothing crazy. And if let's say like if it's a petty trial, it's 20. If it's a major trial, it's 100. Then I have this right here, this scale. Or rather, let me start with this one, this triangle, this palm tree. This is the vacation benefit mod. I believe this is by Epi Sims. And I thought this was cool because it gives you vacation benefits. So you can actually, for example, pick the forgiving one. And this will clear off any Sims that your Sim is furious with. It'll reduce and clear off that furious state. You know, when your Sim has done something bad and then they become enemies and they become furious. Yeah. So there's all sorts of different vacation benefits. So I thought that could be cool. If you come to the king and queen, depending on the outcome, you could use the vacation benefit to also give a penalty to jet lagged or cranky. And I think that will affect their energy levels or their social or whatever the case. So vacation benefit mod, the tip jar mod. And then I am using this, and this is by Silly Sims. And this is the, I don't know what it's called actually. The judging scale. Judgment scales of judgment. Behold the ultimate authority of all things right and wrong. The judgment scales of judgment are here to render their verdict on your life choices, and they won't hold back. Warning, may cause existential crisis, self-reflection, or a strong desire to reevaluate your life choices. And this is by Sissy Sims. Did I say sissy or did I say silly? Failure to pay fines or complete community service will result in prison time. Example of crimes. Major is murder, attempted murder. Moderate is assault, endangerment, neglect. Minor is burglary, harassment, and counterfeiting. It's so crazy how this situation went from a very minor burglar issue to a very major murder issue. So this is really great for storytelling because it's kind of different from like spinning a wheel or something, where Roman and Eevee will have to sit here, and essentially I'm going to use this mod and I'm going to just judge them and then sentence them with this mod. Now I'm going to preface and say, if the mod doesn't give me the option I want for my story, I might change it. Okay, my darling, go back and sit down. You're good. And so this is the palace. We have the courtyard here, and I love that I incorporated the Zulu inspiration by trying to make these huts circular. Of course, we don't have circular walls, so I tried my best. I think they turned out really good. And then the small prison cell. I need to finish up this wallpaper up here. I will do that when I'm done. But this is the palace, y'all. I wanted to show you the Labati map so you can kind of understand where the palace even is. So this is Labati, as you can see. This is my little quaint town, period. This is Eevee and Roman's place. This is her Long Live Labati Environmental. This is her business, so excited. And so this is the township of Labati. And then the palace is all the way back here. I know it's called Townies. I'll have to change that in Simpy, but this is the palace. So again, it's like a secluded thing. You know, it's not like they go to the palace every day. Like you kind of have to like maybe go by water or something and trek there. So yeah, unless you want to hike the mountains, which I don't think anybody wants to do right now. Yeah, so that's kind of the concept essentially of Labati right now. By now, I'm sure you know that I love to read, and I actually really hope that I can share more bits of bookish things on my channel, because that is Princess in an essence. I love to read. I've always loved to read. And I wanted to share some of the books that it also inspired the way that I want to or intend to run this kingdom, and also the king and queen and some of their elements. So the first two books are by Jordan Ifweko, and the first one is called Raybearer and the second is called Redemptor. These books are good, you guys. 5 stars, 5 stars, 5 stars. It's African mythology, fantasy, coming of age, found family. It's every good thing. Honestly, Jordan Ifweko's series is so good. And then there's another book, and it's something like the Maiden and the Crocodile. It just came out recently, and I need to read it. It looks like it's going to be so good. I freaking love Jordan Ifweko's work. These books are so good because one of the characters, I don't want to spoil it because I do want you to pick it up and read it, but they're set in this way where these young people have to basically like fight for not only their survival, but also like a place within the empire. And I really like this idea of like there being kind of like, not Hunger Games, what's the other one? Divergent. You see how there are these like trials? You grow up and you're trained to do this thing, and then you come of age, and when you turn 16 you have to like do this trial, obviously without all of like the unaliving, right? But I like this idea of like growing up and aspiring for something and having to like train for it and hope for it and then like battle for it. So I kind of want to incorporate something like that into my world. Who knows, maybe Kobe is going to be the next king. Kobe is my legacy founder Eevee, her son. So he's Gen 2, we're on Gen 1. And I'm like, maybe Kobe's gonna be the next king, and maybe we raise him up and he has to do some like deep trial. And you know, in The Sims 2, we have that military career reward, and your Sims have to like jump through it and do all these like, you know, agility tests and stuff. And I was like, that is a cool way to simulate some sort of trial or battle. And then I believe there have to be some like sword fighting, battling, dueling mods out there. I'm pretty sure with how big the medieval community is within Sims 2, that has to exist. So incorporating some of those things could be really fun to kind of play out the trials that we see in stories like Redemptor and Raybearer. Another one that I really liked, another book, is called Dragon Master Crimson Thunder, The Master's Heir. And this book is a little bit spicy, okay? But it is really cool because they have that council. See how I was describing there's like a king and then there's like elders or chiefs. This book has that, and these figures are kind of like fantastical. And there's one, and she is the master of light, and then there's also a guy and he's the master of dark. And the woman who is the master of light, she can kind of like see into the future a little bit. She has like some abilities, and so she is who inspired the way that I created our queen, with, you know, the silver and the blue. just kind of emulating some sort of light and like wisdom. I don't know. That's what it gives me. But this book was really good because it focused a lot on this council. It focused a lot on how decisions are made in a world where there is magic and power and threats. It was very good. Again, spicy. So, you know, you're warned. But these 3 books are my top recommendations, and also my big inspo as it relates to creating some sort of kingdom or a palace system for Labati. I hope that I can also share more of my book recommendations and things like that. I love reading. I already said this earlier, but watch out for that because I think I'll share more of that on my channel as well. So you all have come along this long historical cultural ride. I hope you learned something. I hope this was fun, but I'm not leaving you hanging. We are now going to go into the story. I know I usually stream it, but I figured we'd be very interested to see, well, what do the king and queen have to say as it relates to Roman unaliving a burglar that came into his home, but unaliving her in a very inhumane way with 15 pew-pews. Her family, her name was Jessica Abadi. I feel like a news reporter. Her name was Jessica Abadi. Her family is now petitioning the king that Roman is a maniac and he needs to be banished, mutilated, buried alive. Something needs to happen. Her family is seeking justice. But we know Miss Lydia, you are not going to get her son, not hers. Okay. So Miss Lydia is also finding a way to somehow get her son out of this. So I thought it'd be fun if we carry out the story in this episode. So let's dive into some Labati legacy. Enjoy, have fun, get a snack. So we are in the Labati household, and it seems that Eevee and Aisha are waking up. So Aisha has decided to stay over because you can hear the baby crying. Kobe is crying. There's a lot going on in the house, and Eevee can't do it alone. You know what I mean? So she just kind of has to hold her little son while Aisha makes the bed. And maybe Aisha, you can get some breakfast started. So it's been a pretty hectic time since Roman has been taken into custody, and Eevee has had to take care of Kobe. She's also had to take care of the home. And as we all know, she just started a business. And so she's also had to take care of the business. So it's been a lot going on. And so that's why Aisha, our lovely bestie, is here to help and support. Oh, these berry waffles are very cute. They're by Jackie93 Sims. So it's a busy morning, but the girls got it. She's like, Kobe, give me 1 second and then I'll make your milk, okay? I know it says Eevee has the day off. She indeed does not have the day off. We are definitely going to work. Kobe, I know you want to play. Just wait. Mommy's going to give you some milk and then you can do your thing, okay? There we go. Good. So he gets his nice smart milk, high quality organic goat's milk. You did not sleep well. You were kicking me up and down all around. What's going on? Clean up? You don't have to clean up. Just go ahead and sit down. You're not hungry? No, you're not. That's fine. Kobe is walking. Look at him, you guys. He walks now. He learned how to walk because he drank the super milk, y'all. Labati's organic, don't get it twisted. So she's talking about her day. She's like, yeah, so I know like things have been kind of cloudy, things have been kind of dark, but just know that I'm here for you, girl, okay? Like, I know you're here for me. I know you're here for Kobe, you, my dad, Auntie Christy, like everyone's been so good. I'm just so grateful. Of course, Eevee. So what's your plan? Are you gonna stay kind of cool? I know things are cold between you and Roman. Are you gonna, visit him, or let's change the topic and we're gonna actually talk about money? Honestly, I have like 1,300 simoleons. We used all of his savings and my savings to renovate the home. We don't have a lot, and I'm not at the store. And she's like, I know you're not at the store, so you can't really make sales. Exactly. So my priority is giving Kobe the best Christmas ever, taking care of my son, and starting up my business. And if Roman has to rot in there, then he's gonna have to rot in there. Eevee, don't say that. No, Aisha. He left us. He left us. He chose what he chose. He abandoned us. And I'm not gonna put a hat on it and dress it up. I'm gonna call it what it is. And so I'm gonna take care of myself. So you're not gonna see him at all? He's been in there for like almost a week now? The least you could do is like visit him. It's the least I could do. The least he could do is not pew-pew someone 15 times. You know what, girl? I'm gonna clean up. Aisha is like the best friend that you need in a time of crisis. She's got Kobe. She reads to him. We might even do that this morning. She just takes care of him and makes sure everything is good, while Eevee works on whatever she needs to work on. Aisha doesn't have a job right now, so she's able to just kind of stay at home and support. It's been tough. So yeah, this is Eevee's morning routine. It's almost 10, and so we're gonna head to the store. Are we ready per se? No, but we're gonna do it because she knows that probably getting Roman out of the situation he's in requires money. And also protecting herself if there's something negative happening now that they don't have Roman's income will also require money. So she's fully aware of these realities. Roman's car got stolen, if you don't remember. Jessica Ibadi's grave is still here. The government people have to come and pick it up. Let's go ahead and mourn. She's walking to her car and she's having this flashback and she's like, I can't believe this is where Jessica just fell to the ground. Like, I can't believe this. And so she's just kind of feeling that sorrow. And then now we're going to drive to our job. We're going to go alone and we're going to go to Long Live Labati. All right, so we are here at Long Live Labati. Long Live Labati Environmental. And as you can see, our money has significantly reduced. We're at 174 simoleons. You might ask me why? What happened? Well, first off, so I had to do the wallpaper and stuff, so it looks a bit different from when you last saw it. I had to do a little front desk area, and all of this will change. You all know how I like to play. I like to play very realistic. We do renovations as time goes on based on the funds, right? And then I had to put these shelves, I had to buy these shelves. And so I think she probably thrifted these shelves and she's going to make them new. Why I say that is because this has a swatch that is not as dingy. I think I can show you this one. Right, so we have this like nice clean swatch and then we have a more dingy one. So I thought for storytelling it might be fun to see these go from kind of battered to smooth. And then I put all her seeds because Eevee sells organic seeds. So these are all the pole bean ones, and we have 20 more in our inventory. We have some coconut tree seeds, we have some plantain seeds over here. I forgot to grab some papaya, but we'll do that next time. And this is all we're selling inside. Essentially, Eevee hasn't had her grand opening because Roman ruined it by getting himself locked up. So things have been so stressful. She's just kind of been focused on farming and getting what she needs to get done. So we're still going to hopefully have a grand opening once the community isn't talking about her and her family in a very horrible way. So for now, this is kind of like a soft opening, a makeshift opening. And she's basically selling all of her inventory so that she can get some funds going because Colby is going to be going to daycare and, you know, life is happening and Roman's salary is not coming in. And so we got to think about that. Out here, we have our organic pesticide that we sell. So we have them all lined up out here and I'm going to go ahead. These are a hot commodity because Labati has a very dry climate. And so I guess people like the liquid pesticide or liquid fertilizer that we have going on here. And then over here, I put down some Christmas trees because I figured, hey, it's Christmas season. Let's go ahead and sell some Christmas trees. Is this, whoa, 1,966? Okay, so that ate up a lot of our money. Let's hope that these Christmas trees sell like hotcakes. How much this one? This one's $1. I don't even think we're gonna waste our time selling these ones at all. And these ones are super expensive. Let's say that Labati doesn't actually grow a pine. Is this called a pine tree? Labati doesn't grow Christmas trees organically. And so this had to be like, you know, the seed had to be brought in and fertilized in a special way. So they're very pricey. So only the rich of the rich can afford a real pine tree, a real Christmas tree. Don Pond, we have roaches? Okay, go get them, girl. Where are the roaches? Oh my gosh, we just bought this land and there's already roaches. Are you kidding me? Where? Okay, apparently there's roaches. Oh my gosh. Let's spray them. That's crazy. She's like, oh my gosh, there's a roach infestation. Girl, stay calm. Okay, looking at the pesticide water, period. We'll do a basic sale to you as well. Aw, I know. It's a lot going on. She's like, I'm having such a hard day and I have to like talk to people and sell stuff. And I have roaches. It's like, hi, welcome to Long Live Labati. I see you're looking at the pole beans. They are organic. I grew them myself and they rear such a good batch. Really? That's awesome. Yeah. Let me know if you need any help, okay? Oh, this person needs help right here. Matthew Smith. Sales, may I help you? Yeah, organic pesticide, 20% off today, okay? Let's go inside and help Matthew out. We asked for help. He's like, I'm actually looking to grow some petunias for my wife. Oh, petunias. They're not local to Labati, but we do have some seeds that might help you. Let me show you right this way. You got this, girl. Look at you doing it. Look at you doing it. I can't wait till the store is like full and we have all different types of sections. Maybe we'll sell fresh produce. Like, it's going to be so good. And we also, out here, we have areas to grow things. We have these areas, and then we have these greenhouses. It's going to be so good. Hey, we got our first simoleon, period. Hi, welcome to Long Live Labati. Thank you, young lady. Anything I could help you with? No? No, I just want to be left alone. Alrighty. Alrighty. Sometimes customers have an attitude. You don't know her husband's in the prison right now? You don't know? Rude. I hope that you found everything you're looking for. Yeah, your store is beautiful. I can't wait to see what you'll do, Yvonne. Thank you. Thanks so much. Take care. Ooh, that was 156. Look at us. Our money is up. Nobody wants our Christmas tree. It's Christmas. Fa la 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 la. Nobody wants our Christmas tree, you guys. Nobody's buying our $1,200, our $2,000 Christmas. This man, yeah, he's even leaving. He never came here to buy anything. He came here to just be a monitoring spirit. He's like, hey, Eevee. Hey, Tristan. It's so good to see you. Sorry, Jan. We're all up in your space. She's like, let's talk inside. Or let's talk out back. Like, oh, she's thinking he's cute. Girl, priorities. Right now is not the time. He's like, hey, so how have you been? How's everything? Honestly, Tristan, I am a absolute chat. I am an absolute wreck. Like, I mean, you don't look like you're a wreck. Tristan, do you know how much concealer I'm wearing right now? What are we doing? Telling a dirty joke? Girl, I told you to talk chat. He's like, I just feel like I'm thrown into the deep end, Tristan. I don't even know what to do. Has he talked to you? Have you been? No, they're not letting any visitors in except immediate family. So I wasn't even able to see him. Really? Yeah, I tried. Eevee, I did. I think the only person on the list are you, his mom, and his dad. Are you gonna see him? I can't see him, Justin. He unalived somebody on my driveway. I know, Eevee, but we just have to remember that he's still roaming. You know, he's not. No, Tristan, he's not. A little bit of a disagreement here. He's still roaming. He's still my best friend. I just can't believe, I can't accept that he's not who I know him to be. Tristan, he killed someone. Okay? You would never be the same. I get it, but I don't know. I think you're in shock the same way I'm in shock. Okay, and that's okay. That's okay. We can't make sense of it because it doesn't make sense. Like, I just don't know how he got himself into the situation. What are we gonna do? I don't even know. Listen, all I know is that I'm married to someone that made a huge mistake, and that mistake implicates me. Let's give her a friendly hug. Hug. Friendly. I'm sorry, Eevee. I'm here talking about me and you're the one in distress. No, you're okay. All I can say is you are so strong and you don't have to be. Okay, you can lean on me and lean on your family. Like, we're all here for you. Let's talk. Let's just chat. I have to be strong, Tristan, because I have a son who doesn't deserve a murderer as a father. You know what I mean? I get it, but let's not call Roman a murderer just yet. You know, like, we don't know. I was there. Eevee, I gotta go. So there's a little disagreement here. The disagreement makes sense. It's not even a disagreement. It's just so much so that Tristan and Roman are besties, right? This is his childhood best friend. And he's come to Labati after his long trip in Tomarang. He's come to Labati and he's like, bro, my best friend is different. My best friend is cheating, sleeping with his fiance's aunt, acting weird, acting territorial, and now unaliving people. Like, I just can't grasp it. But then Eevee's perspective is like, I was there. Nobody else was there. Nobody else was upfront personal. Nobody else saw how different, how insane he turned. I was there. I saw. So I think they're both trying to reconcile their new realities with this Roman who means something to them. All right, so we are here at the palace, and I've already given you all a tour. But it's interesting because we are not here with Eevee. We are not here with Tristan. You would think we would be here with the Buari family, Lydia or Ghanian, visiting Roman. No, we're here with Marg. Little Miss Marg found her way to the palace and she said, I have to see Roman. And interestingly enough, in her inventory, she has some fruit. She has some bunches of bananas and harvestable bananas. And I think she kind of just came here to like make sure he's eating good, make sure he's okay, like, you know, this kind of thing. And wait your turn. Let's pretend that the servant or the court worker is like, please take a seat here and he'll be with you shortly. Okay, your Aunt Marg is here and she is waiting for the kingdom workers to bring out Roman. This is Obi's stall. This is Roman, you guys. Look at him. Look at him. He's probably like writing a letter. Anyway, let's have her. Can she go here? She's like, Roman, hello. How are you finding yourself acclimated? It's like, well, I'm in jail, so not too good. You do have a visitor. Really? You're kidding me. No, you have a visitor. Your first one, if you'll follow me. So, can you tell me who it is? Oh my gosh, don't mind Roman's dad bod. Like, he gained a little bit of weight and then the mesh of the clothes is making him look really funny. Who is it? Can you tell me who it is? I think it's best that you just follow me. Is it my mom? My dad? Is it Eevee? Is it my wife? Please tell me. Roman, just follow me, okay? Not him talking about burglary. Don't kill me. He's like, I swear she was a burglar. Roman, just follow me. Locked up, they won't let me out. Like, Roman, you have 10 minutes of visitation. 10 minutes, let's say an hour of visitation, okay? And then someone will be here to escort you back to your cell. So Roman has no idea who is on the other side of this wooden panel. So he is going to sit down. And he sees that it is indeed Auntie Marg. And she's like, Roman, you look, what do I look like? I look depressed, tired. Where's my wife? Margaret? Where's my wife? She doesn't know that I'm here. She doesn't know that I'm here. She doesn't know that I'm visiting you. Nobody knows I'm here, okay? Why? Why hasn't she come and seen me? How is my son? How's Kobe? Kobe is good. He's good. He doesn't even know where his dad is. Yes, Roman, he doesn't. I don't think anyone's explained to him that his dad is locked up. Like, that would be a little bit intense, don't you think? Why hasn't Eevee come and see me? Does she know something? Did you tell her something? I would never tell her anything. That's me jeopardizing my relationship with her. So then why hasn't she come? Tristan hasn't been here. Eevee hasn't been here. Give me an explanation, Marg. Because it's sounding like you're doing some operation to win me back. To get me into your hands. I will never understand that now. It's never gonna work. I want my wife here, okay? Just take care of yourself. He's like, what is this? These are some bananas. They're fresh. I don't know what they're giving you here, but you need potassium, okay? Just take them. Okay, Marg. Thank you. You see, I'm still looking out for you. Let's flirt. Let's have her charm him. Yeah. I'm still looking out for you, okay? He's like, Marg, oh, so now you're thinking about your family. Okay. Okay, sir. Now you're thinking about them. She's like, really? Seriously? He's like, please, just thank you for the bananas, but can you go? And can you tell Eevee that I want to see her? Guards, take me back to my cell. Is that the case? I'm the only one out of your whole family. He's like, please, I have a child, Margaret. A kid that's going to know his dad is in jail. She's like, and that's my fault? That's my fault? So they're arguing, okay? So Eevee and Fred have made their way. And she's like, thanks so much for being here, Dad. Of course. Madame the Great has arrived. Where's she at on the panel? Go here. She's like, hello. They're like, did she just teleport? Hello. It's really great to meet you. Welcome. Welcome to our kingdom. I understand that you have a relative here that you would like to see. It is lovely to meet you. Frederick, isn't it? Yes, Madame Great. Good to see you as well. There is already a visitor inside. But they are authorized. So after they're done, then you can go in, okay? We allow one visitor set at a time. Do you mind if we go in? It might be his family. Appreciate it. Do you mind if we go in? It might be his family and I'd like to speak to them as well. I am his wife, so I should be on the authorized list as well. Yes. You know what? I'll make an exception. He hasn't had visitors all week. Not I'm saying, Madame Great, you fine, honey. You follow me. Okay. Okay, let's go in. Good. So Madame Light is like right this way. As I said, he already has a visitor, and so you'll just be one moment of waiting because it has been an hour since his visitor has come. Ooh, you think he's fine too? Girl, get it together. Okay, y'all. So Auntie Marg is here, and she is trying to what? Win back Roman's desire for her and affection for her, because that's what made her feel something. And so she is going to charm him. Flirt, charm. And let's see what happens. I'm so scared. Okay. He's still rejecting her. And when I click Roman and I click on Auntie Marg and I click anything like kiss, it's family kiss. There's no romantic options except for asked to just be friends. But when I click on Auntie Marg, who she wants to flirt with, by the way, that's one of her wants here. When I click on Roman, I click on flirt, I do get options. So this is the perfect time that we're going to come in. As we can see, the Sims, they tell the story. I'm telling you, we can try and push the Sims, but we can't really tell them what to do because they're their own people. So although I want him to kind of slip up because Eevee's right there, he's not going to do it. Right now, it's like something just woke up in his brain and he's like, stop, Margaret, just stop. Okay. I've had enough of this. I can't do this anymore. Boom. Right then and there, Eevee is going to walk in. She's going to sit down. She's like, Auntie Marg, what are you doing here? She's like, Eevee, what are you doing here? What do you mean, what am I doing here? I'm here to see Roman. What are you doing here? I came to visit the boy as well. Oh, why is that? You haven't visited me since everything happened. You haven't even seen Kobe. I just wanted to make sure he was okay, Eevee. That's what family does after all, isn't it? I mean, and then Uncle Fred should be here too. He's like, Marg? He's like, Margaret. What is it that you are doing here? Dad, that's what I just asked her. She's like, I don't understand. I can't visit the prisoner. He's been alone. He probably doesn't have nutritious food, so I just brought him some bananas. He has a family for that, Eevee. Do you know how this boy has traumatized... I said Eevee, I meant Marg. Do you know how this boy has traumatized my daughter? And you are supposed to be her auntie. And you're here feeding him bananas. Let him eat the dog food. Let him eat the dog food. He's like, do not speak to me like that, Fred. No, I've had enough of this. Fred, stand up for yourself. That's right. Let me make her unselectable. He's going to tell her to go. I wish I could just ask her to leave, but he's probably going to hug her. He's like, get out. How about that? Get out. Eevee, you have the floor. And then let's say Roman's been hiding in the corner here. Okay, interesting. Take a seat. Eevee, is that you? Uncle Fred's like, I'll give you two a moment, okay? Thanks, Dad. So, you're here. Let me get in tab mode for this. So you're here. Yeah, I'm here. I'm here not to keep the peace. It's not some sunny day. I'm here because I need to talk to you. Okay. Whatever you want to talk about. Why was my aunt here, Roman? He's like, what do you mean? What are you asking me? How would I know why your aunt was here? No one from my family has seen you in a week. Roman, you've been here for a week. No one in my family has come here to see you. No one in your family has come to check on their grandson. But Marg, my auntie, is here? Yeah, I guess she came here. So what happened? She came here, she brought me some bananas, and that's it? Yeah, that's it. What are you trying to say? Eevee, I haven't seen you in a week after this crap show. And you want to talk to me about your aunt? How am I going to get out of here? They say that you have a trial tomorrow, and so that's what's going to happen. And are you going to plead on my case, or... I don't know, Roman. Don't ask me hard questions right now. You put me in an indescribable situation. You shot Jessica 15 times, Roman. 15. Eevee, you know. No, 15 times, Roman. That's inexcusable. You know why I had to do that. You know she was a threat to our family. You know that. Don't act like you don't know that. She stole my car. But she wasn't going to unalive you. She wasn't going to harm any of us. You don't know that. You know what I did, what I had to do to protect us and our family. But it's never enough for you, Eevee. It's never enough. No matter what I do, it's never enough. I'm behind you and I've supported you. Have you? Have you supported me? Look where I am. I'm in the slammer for a week and you haven't even come to see me. Because do you know how compromising this is? I have a child on one income with a new business. Do you know how hard it is for me? Have you ever considered that? No, you haven't. You think about yourself. And now look. I have to feed Kobe. I've got to go. How is he? How is he? Does he ask for me? Yeah, he asks for you all the time. Who's with him now? If you and your daughter here, Aisha. Aisha. Yeah. And Tristan helps here and there as well. He came by to the shop and helped. So as we can see, it is 9:37 and it is definitely, most definitely time for them to go. So she's going to say her goodbyes and she's going to walk on out and just give her dad a really big hug. Like, I got to go, Roman. I got to take care of Kobe. Will you be back? I don't know. Are you ready to go, honey? Yes. Say goodbye to Madame Light. I'll see you for the trial tomorrow. Get some rest, young one. Just in here thinking about, oh my gosh, he hates Roman. He was just thinking about Roman with the X in his head. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. And Roman, let's pretend he's being escorted by the security. I don't have them created yet, but I will. Roman, go back to your cell. I feel like maybe you could do some push-ups or something. You can't do like a little workout? And so Roman fights to see another day. We really got to get this workout, this fitness level up because the dad bod is very much giving dad bod. But yes, so the trial is tomorrow. Let's catch up then. So it is the next day and the trial has begun. Our defendants, no, our victims, our people of question have not yet been emerged to their seats. So let me show you who all is here on this lovely side, and I will just put the roof up and put the building up so it looks proper. On this side, we have Frederick, Eevee, Auntie Betty, Margaret, and Christy. And then on the other side, it's not really split up in between people that is support, people that don't support. It's just kind of like wherever the seating is at. As we can see, Auntie Lydia here, being a hater, yelling at people. She's probably yelling at Tristan because she heard that Tristan went and helped at Eevee's store and she's pissed about that. And it seems Ghanian is too. And Mahalia is upset for our girl, justice for Eevee. Like, this is unacceptable. So there's a lot going on right now on this side of the room. Let me take a good picture of this. This is hilarious. Dun, 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 dun. We have Beza the Great. And we have Madame Light the Great. So we are about to begin the procession. Let us go ahead. I did reduce the volume of the voices because it's so many people talking here. So I hope that it's not too loud. I am Beza the Great. I rule over Labati. And today we are hearing about an unjust act that has taken the spirit and soul of Jessica Ibadi. My dear Madame the Light, allow them to proceed. I, Madame the Light, call out Roman, Buari, and Obi to come out. Because Madame Light is the queen of and controller of light, she can actually summon them to spawn here. So I'm gonna have Roman. And he's like, oh my gosh, everybody's here. Take a seat. Obi, present yourself. He's like, what? Take a seat. Silence your phone as well. Sorry, madame. No more phone calls in this trial. Do you hear me? Yes, ma'am. Let the trial begin. Who would like to speak on behalf of our first victim? What is their name? First disputant. I command silence. Whoever would like to speak, come forward. Miss Lydia Buari. Go ahead, and I'm using the opportunity pack. It's just hidden right here. Go ahead and make your case, madame. Thank you, Beza and Madame Light. You have all been so gracious to us today. I would like to start off by saying that my son is innocent. And why is that the case? Roman has always been such an ambitious young man. But not just ambitious. Roman has always been the type of boy who sees the best in people. And his kindness and his heart has been exploited. He and Eevee had a tumultuous relationship, if I could call it that. And her family has corrupted him, Beza. Objection! Objection! How could she say such a thing? Order! Not the bill collector here, girl. This is not the time. Order. You see? Do you see how they're vultures? They can't even listen to a civilized conversation. They have taken my son, Beza. They have taken my son. They've brainwashed him into believing that he is to be a farmer, Beza. My family that comes from generational wealth of businessmen, of entrepreneurs. They've turned Roman into a low life. Beza. Beza. Understand that when Eevee and Roman were living in Uncle Fred's house, there was a burglar incident. And Roman, being the peacemaker that he is, peacemaker, he left my daughter stranded. Silence. Silence. Let her speak. Let her speak. After that incident with the burglar, they corrupted Roman and his peacemaking ways and told him it wasn't enough. They told him he had to be more. Beza, Madame Light, and Beza the Great. Today, I want to tell you that my son has been targeted and that he's been driven insane by this family. And that you ought to see that it is Frederick who needs to be put into the prison. Frederick? Oh my gosh. Did she just say Frederick? Oh my gosh. Frederick, Mom, what are you doing? Frederick, yes. Because he pulled out a rifle on my son and told my son that the next time there's a burglar, my son needs to prove to him that he is worth his daughter. And that proving doesn't come through money. It doesn't come through honor. It comes through being a cold-hearted killer. That is enough. My love, I think the next person can speak. Who would like to speak next? Beza, if I may, I would like to take the floor. Go ahead. Hello, community, family. The first thing I would like to say is that I am not one to tolerate violence. Roman came into my family having impregnated my daughter. My daughter was extremely sick in the hospital, and I took care of her. She almost lost my beautiful grandson, Kwesi, and I took care of her. Roman was kicked out of his home. Friends, community, Beza and Madame Light. Roman was this peacemaker that she describes was kicked out of his home. I took him in and I told him that if he needs the space to become a man and to do what a man needs to do, which yes, I agree is to protect his family. I forgot the accent. If he has to take the space to learn how to protect my daughter and his grandchild, I would support him in that. That is what I told the boy. When there was a burglar who came to our home, thankfully, she did not steal anything. But Roman stood there, Beza. Roman witnessed this burglar come into my compound, and he did nothing. As a born and raised Labati man, this is not how we are trained. And so I told him, if ever something like this is to happen again, if he doesn't deal with it, I will deal with him. And as a man, as a father who has raised this young lady before you, with my blood, sweat, and tears, I did the right thing. This Buhari family, they are corrupt individuals. Corrupt. They want to sue my daughter. They want to put me even in prison. They have disrespected my fiancé. They have disrespected my home. Beza, Madame Light, everyone here can testify that the Buhari family is a classist, disrespectful family. They don't cherish and value one another. They cherish simoleons. That is why, as you can see in the record, let the record know that Lydia is even suing my daughter. I want justice, and I want my daughter to be free. I believe that Roman should incur the punishment. And Obi as well, because this young man came to my house and kicked over my trash can. He's always lurking around my home, and now my daughter's home too. There must be a consequence. Thank you. I am Beza. Take your seat. Beza has heard. Who else should make a case? I feel like we need like a character case. Who can speak on Roman? Honestly, Tristan. My name is Tristan Keji, and I've known Roman since I was 3. I've known him to be a leader. I've known him to be smart. I've known him to love his family and really respect them and care about their opinion. When I went off to Tamarang to study art, Roman wanted to follow in his dad's footsteps and go to college here in Labati and grow up and, you know, take over the family business. He's always been honorable. I think that Roman, like me, is young and he made a mistake. He shouldn't have pew-pewed Jessica that many times, but I think he was doing what he had to do to protect his family. I've never known him to be violent. I've never known him to be dishonorable. And I don't believe he has any stain in his record in Labati. So Beza, I ask that you pardon Roman. Madam Light, I ask that you see and help Roman restore his own light. Thank you, Tristan. Thank you. Okay, Tristan, with the words. Okay, go sit down. So I think at this point, anyone who's kind of relevant has spoken, and I think now it leaves Eevee. I now would like to ask the wife of the disputant, or the wife of the plaintiff, girl, I don't know the legal terms here, okay, to rise, to come forward, and to give us her account, as she was also the only witness who was still breathing that day. And she's like, take your time, breathe, and speak from the heart, my child. Thank you, Madam Light. Hello, community. Sorry, I know that most of you in Labati know me to be outspoken and strong and passionate about the environment, but I love the butterfly behind her. It's like it speaks something, you know? I have been so crushed. My dad raised me, and it's always been me and him. And when I was in Labati Collegiate, I met Roman, and at first we didn't get along. I thought he was spoiled and bratty, but he showed me that he supported my vision, supported Long Live Labati, and wanted to partner with me in this mission. A mission to make Labati a strong and healthy town. Him and I had Kobe, my son, who just had a birthday a week ago. And we have dreams of starting something big in Labati together. My dad spoke a little bit about the family, and I will as well. The Buaris have never been kind to me. They have abandoned me in my hardest moments. They've criticized me as a mother, as a daughter. And I have continued to stand by Roman's side because I love him and he is my husband. And so it's so difficult today to be on a trial that involves him. Thank you, my daughter. Tell us about that night, as you were the only one that can give an account. What took place? Describe it in detail so we can understand you better. Yes, the greats. So what happened was we were sleeping. It was right after Kobe's birthday, and I was asleep, and all of a sudden Roman woke me up and he said, go get Kobe, somebody's at our house. And I frantically woke up. I ran to get Kobe, made sure he was okay, and I saw Roman leave the house with a pew-pew in his hand. Did he tell you his intentions with that pew-pew? Did he describe anything in that moment? No, Beza, the great. He did not describe anything. He told me to get Kobe and make sure Kobe was safe. That was my priority. My son was my priority. Came outside once I made sure Kobe was safe, and I saw Roman direct his pew-pew at Jessica Ibadi. And then what, my child? I told him, Roman, just get her in the leg. Because at this point, she had stolen the vehicle, and I did notice that Obi was also outside, and it did seem suspicious. So I advised him to get her in the leg. So you used your wisdom as a woman and your intuition to tell him to take her down, but not to unalive her. Is that what I'm understanding here, my daughter? That you advised him to not enact violence, but to be defensive. Is that correct? Yes. Yes, the greats. I told him, get her in the leg. Because I wanted him to immobile her. I wanted him to cause her to not be able to run away so she could finally, pay for these crimes. She's robbed us. She's robbed my father. Like, what's next? My child is inside. But I did not instruct him to pew-pew her 15 times. And he let it rip, and he pew-pewed her 15 times, and she fell in my driveway where my son plays. This is what happened. As you were there, you were the only witness. We understand your account, and that lines up with our records. Yvonne Adjoa, what do you believe was the true intention of your husband, Roman Buari? I believe that Roman wanted to protect us, and I believe that he did what he had to do to protect us. This wasn't the first time Jessica had striked. I think it was actually the second or third time we'd heard about it that month alone. She had been targeting our family, and he wanted to protect us. This is what I have to believe. Thank you, Eevee. And Obi's like, you said my name? Now, why am I in it? Obi looks so handsome here. And T-Buddy's like, I still don't trust the boy. Thank you, Eevee, for your account. You may be seated. Roman, please rise. Roman, I'm so scared you're about to be sentenced. You guys, it's happening. Face your community, Roman. We will let the judgment scales that have heard the accounts in the case of Roman Buari judge. As you know, in Labati, it is not an autocracy. Your king and queen do not wish to rule in violence. We wish for peace and harmony. And so as we hold court, let the judgment scales... Roman, put your foot down. Let the judgment scales give judgment. Be sentenced. Okay, be judged. Here we go, you guys. Oh, in the case of Roman Buari, you have been found not guilty. Looks like you're off the hook. So I think that Eevee's testimony was really moving to Beza and Madame Light, the greats, because I think they decided, oh my gosh, Roman, the first person who has to come up here and give him a big hug. Oh my gosh, Roman, you're off the hook. Look at her walking. She's like, you're coming home. He's like, I'm coming home. Oh, you guys. I know we hate Roman. I know. But you can't lie. This is like the sweetest thing you've ever seen. This is so sweet. He's like, I'm coming home. She's like, you're coming home. Aww. I know we hate Roman, but that was really sweet. That was really stinking cute, okay? Hey, he's got his girl back. One more hug, a romantic hug. It's like, I love you so much, okay? I love you too, Roman. Beza has spoken. Roman, be seated. Yvonne, take your seat, my child. Now in the case of Obi. Obi, please rise. I know people didn't really plead for him, but he's a side character. Face your community. In the case of Obi, may the judgment scales offer judgment. Be judged. You have been found not guilty. Okay. So Obi is not going to prison. Interesting. Okay. You have been found not guilty, as we do not see a direct link between yourself and Ibadi, Jessica Ibadi. You will compensate the Buari family, as you have been violating and trespassing and vandalizing properties. You will also compensate the state with 1,000 simoleons. Yes, sir. Thank you, Beza. Thank you, Madam Light. Take your seat. I would like to remind the people of Labati that we are here to exist in harmony. All of this vandalizing, all of this cold-blooded harm must end today. I will not tolerate it in my court. Is that understood? Yes, Beza. Yes, Beza. Yes, Beza. I have another complaint here. Land dispute. I understand that Lydia Buari would like her land to be given back to her and would like to be compensated. Is that the case? Yes, Beza. I would like to rule my verdict on that. Eevee, you are to pay Lydia 20,000 simoleons, as you have reaped harvest and produce from her land to purchase your business. Lydia, you will not receive the land fully back because you gave it to these young ones to start their lives together. I've read the agreement and you gave it to them. It was not a rental agreement. It was an ownership transfer. Eevee did not have permission to reap crops on your land before that agreement was signed. 20,000 simoleons is due to Lydia. The land will not be transferred back. Is that understood? Yes, Beza. Yes, Beza. Leave my courts and be safe. Thank you. So thank you all so much for tagging along. This gameplay has been rich. As the judgment scales have said, Obi and Roman are free to go, and they will not be living in the cells. They will not be imprisoned. And as it relates to the land dispute that Lydia threatened Eevee with, Eevee will have to pay 20,000 simoleons as a penalty for reaping crops off of a land that at the time was not hers. But that land belongs to her and Roman. It is not a rental agreement. It is their home that was gifted by Lydia. She cannot retract that. And so, friends, that was that. Isn't this so beautiful? I'm so excited. And I love Beza. Hello, hottie. Okay, let me stop. So you all, I hope you enjoyed this video, this jam-packed video. This is me saying a huge thank you. Thank you so much for all your support on my channel. It is such a encouraging and really safe space. And I like that we're all into the learning and the playing, because this is so healing and also rich and enriching at the same time. And I'm very grateful that you're here. I'm very grateful you're enjoying the content. If you are and you'd like more, give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing, like the video. Now YouTube has a hype feature. Hype it if you like it. And yeah, and I'll see you soon. I want to do one more long form content video like this before the new year. So I'm already working on it. Y'all give me a second. Okay. I'm moving. So there's a lot going. I moved, but moving is really so much more than just, you know, packing up your stuff. Like, do you know how long it took me to find my memory cards to even film this? It took a while because there's boxes all over here. Right. So I hope that you all enjoyed this video. I am looking to merge all of my very niche interests, which include history, which include reading, which includes simming, booking, all the things, crafting. And so I'm trying to find just like the sweet spot, the good intersection, because I know a lot of you all have subscribed to my channel because you enjoy The Sims too. But I have more to share. And so I'm finding a way to merge all of my interests. So I hope that you're, you know, here for the ride and enjoying the content nonetheless. So with that being said, I'm going to leave you all. Have an amazing day, and we'll talk again very soon. Take care. Bye.